Hey, what's up everybody? It's Brett Johnson here, Lab Manager at Superficie America. Today we've got Matt Serra and Jason Dixon here with us from Milesi Wood Coatings. They've been here for a few days, ran some pretty cool products, ran it through the gamut of drying technologies, really had a good time. Yeah, welcome guys, it's great having you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Brett.
Yeah man, I think everything ran really smoothly this week. We ran a lot of different products. We ran some stains, a color that Matt mixed up here on the spot. Actually ended up looking pretty good. You want to tell us about what kind of top coat we put over that?
So underneath we got our CFC water-based spray stain, but then we're running our 2K acrylic self-sealing product, 10 Sheen. It's one of our A-list movers, one of our workhorses. Dries fast, sands fast, has a nice smooth, silky feel to it. It's a great product, very easy to use.
Yeah, it looked great. We sprayed some waterborne coatings, we sprayed some solvent-borne coatings. All the waterborne stuff we sprayed on our Mini Plus one-arm reciprocating spray machine. We sprayed the solvent stuff in our compact. It's our 2-arm reciprocating spray machines. We sprayed at different speeds. We dried at different speeds, different technologies. Some of these we ran through laminar, we ran through laminar and jet, some we ran through the stacking oven, some we ran through the dry vault batch oven behind us, and also we cured a little bit with catalytic IR.
So one thing I wanted to point about the door, this is spray stain off the line, so this is an efficient process for us to run and for our customers to run. One of the challenges we run into on spray stains is trying to get coverage into all these recesses, especially this hard line here and these around the inside edge of the profile. We call those halos when we don't get that coverage, and in this case the coverage here is exceptional in all the details, and that's one of the goals we're working on here. Working with Superficie is trying to get these coatings on the wood in a way that's going to work best for our customers. One of the conversations we've had with our customers is they've automated in the front end of their shop and the woodworking end of their shop. Now the bottleneck is moved from their processing, it's moved from their design and their CAD departments, and it's moved down into the assembly area, and they've automated that. Now we're looking at the bottleneck being in their finishing department. So for us, one of the conversations we have is how do we get the finishing department to catch up to speed with the rest of the shop? Two ways we can do that. We can work with equipment like we're doing here, and we can work with coatings that speed up that process. The synergy we're trying to do here is show coatings that are more efficient for our end users, and we're trying to show equipment that's going to move the coatings through, that's going to move the product through fast. So a couple of technologies we brought today to work with, we brought water-based technology that's one part, so there's no pot life. We can leave it in the machine all day, all week. We brought some 2-part solutions that have more durability with the advantage of being 24-hour long pot life solutions. So we can mix up product and we can keep it loaded in the machine all day, and we could reload it, reuse it tomorrow. Same product without any waste.
Definitely user-friendly for the customer, for the equipment.
Yeah, and that's one of the products we talked about. I think customers on the Milesi side, on the coating side, we sell a lot of polyurethane, European coating, and for our customers, sometimes they hear the word polyurethane and they're thinking things like, oh, that's short pot life, or that uses a lot of catalyst, and that's scary. We don't know how to use that. And one of the products we brought today, for anyone who's used conversion varnish, this product is going to be just as easy for them to use, and it's going to have some additional benefits they're not getting with their conversion varnish. So the long pot life is one of the features. The 10% catalyst, it's a number that's easy, and it's a ratio everyone's familiar with. And the equipment we spray with is the same equipment they've been spraying with, and one of the advantages they're going to get with this coating is the fast dry times and the fast cycle time. So Brett, we ran some of this through. We ran our clear coat cycle through, and how did we do on the dry to touch and the turnaround time?
Yeah, I mean, it was super quick. I mean, it looked good, number one, but number two, we were dry to touch out of the laminar, I believe, 3.5 minutes, I think it was. I mean, that was one option that you could present to a customer, dry to touch, handleable, rackable with a CV-like product, 3.5 minutes is pretty doggone impressive. But then we were able to run it through the jet, our air blade oven with some high velocity air and higher heat. It was in there for 3 minutes, we were good to go. No infrared. Some of the products we ran with, some without, but in this case, it wasn't required at all.
And that's the system we run. We run it in a clear system, and we run it in a pigmented system in a paint. Another advantage of the system we brought here to run with these guys is it's self-seal. So for simplicity, if our customers only want to load up one circuit of the machine and they want to prime, paint, or seal and top coat with one coating, one circuit, we have a solution for them here. And again, they can keep that product in all day and then rerun it tomorrow morning. Same product, same mix, with all the benefits of polyurethane technology.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. And then like in our multi-circuit machines, that's just one circuit taken up with an entire process, right? You still have 2 circuits available to load other materials, so very cool.
You guys talk about like a turnkey solution as far as equipment goes, which is huge. Your customers, they can come, you're a one-stop shop when it comes to that. Then educating your customers with the equipment, with the coatings, all in one. Having them come in here, doing the trials, makes it so much easier for the customers out there, for us out there, for you guys out there. So the collaboration between the manufacturer manufacturer, from the machines to the distributor to the coatings, I think is a not talked enough about subject. And the more educated the market is, so doing events like this is super helpful for us. So we learn a lot out there, so then we can maybe solve some problems for you and like vice versa. So
absolutely, it's a partnership for sure. And you got to help each other out. You need to know our stuff, we need to know your stuff. It's definitely a collaboration.
Because Dylan, I mean, the pumps he was creating are, the systems are extremely complex. So having your pump manufacturers in here with the coating, with your flatline automated equipment, it just makes it so much easier. And it's hard pressed to find that anywhere else.
Yeah, we like to own the process. Dylan Glenn, our fluid delivery engineer, does a great job preparing not only the pumps, guns, and mixed panels and things like that, but really coming up with a plan on the front end to really customize the solution and achieve results that are really nobody else in the industry is doing right now, to be honest with you. Not only are they incredibly functional, but they're aesthetically pleasing as well. They look good in the shop. Customers are proud to see them sitting beside their machines, and they're proud of that healthy investment they made as well. So we like to own that process and be a one-stop shop for everybody.
Yeah, especially, nowadays, finish rooms, turnkey solutions are everything.
Absolutely.
I've noticed. Giving them a final end product that's ready to go with minimal adjustments.
This one's 2-coat self-seal on alder. Is that right? Is that what we ran on this?
Yeah, that one's alder, yeah.
All right, so alders are pretty soft wood. It's pretty porous. So me feeling this door, one of the things I noticed how smooth the end grain is on this door and how smooth the end grain is here. So essentially a customer is able to prep the door, run the door with 1 coat of finish. In this case, minimal drying system, scuff, run back through 2nd coat, and they end up with this door, full finish, ready to ship. About how long do you think this cycle time was to run a coat of finish and then get it back around a 2nd coat of finish to get to where we are here?
Less than half hour.
Yeah, definitely less than that. I mean, we had 6.5 total minutes of drying for each coat, so that's 13 minutes of actual drying time in the oven for each coat, and then just the processing time, the time through the machine, the time to handle the parts and get them back through, and sanding as well. Half an hour.
And this one was last out of the oven when? How long ago, maybe?
Oh, that one? I mean, an hour and a half, 2 hours.
All right, so it's about a couple hours out of the oven. One of the other nice things about this technology and what we're showing today, you can't smell this through the camera, unfortunately, but the amount of off-gassing that we have here is essentially negligible. So
you're right about that.
A lot of times when we run a lot of these parts and we walk around in the facility, after we get a rack or two of parts, we're really starting to smell it in our nose and feel it in our throat. This is solvent technology. These panels we're holding here, this is polyurethane, 2K technology, all the buzzwords you're used to hearing. The really, really cool thing for me is you're not dealing with that smell. You're not dealing with all that off-gassing. When you invest in a machine, you're gonna have a lot of parts out in your floor that are flashing or are drying, and you're gonna have to deal with that smell. And what's really nice about this solvent 2K product is you don't have that issue. So it is another feature to point out.
No, that was great to see and to learn about. You guys had a few cool products that kind of came in with, educated us on, and it's always great to learn and see new things and see where the industry's headed. I mean, urethanes seem to be the way things are going. People are scared of that word. You wish you could call it a conversion varnish, right?
I do. I mean, if we could call this a European conversion varnish, I think maybe it would take on a little bit faster. But the cool thing is once people do see the technology and they get a chance to run it, I think they understand it right away, what we're trying to do with this product here. One of the things we talk about, customers, I think they start asking us questions about automated finishing. They've seen automation in the shop. They've seen CNC, they've seen edge banders. They understand the technology and the benefits. And I think we've talked about it a lot. They'll walk from that beautiful automated shop and they'll walk into the back, into the finish room. And a lot of times the owner just turns around and he leaves because he doesn't want to have anything to do with what's going on. So for us, what I think is really cool is when you look around the facility like this and you see the beautiful painted floors and the beautiful machinery and the touch screens, I think we're bringing finishing into a place where shop owners feel more comfortable. I think they see this equipment and these machines and they understand, hey, this fits in my business. Like, this makes sense. This is the next step of what we need to do for our operation. And for me, as a paint guy, elevating our industry to me is huge. This is how I want to see our coatings being applied, professionally, using professional equipment.
Absolutely. And like earlier, you mentioned the word familiar. Like, it looks familiar to them. A spray machine looks more familiar to that shop owner. It looks more like a CNC or something that they've purchased in the past, and maybe that automation now in the finishing is the next logical step. It's the next tool that they need to finish the job, right? And then spraying is great, but then you've got to dry everything, right? So you could spray everything you want, but then you're just going to move that bottleneck to the drying. It's good to run different technologies, solvent, the water, run them through lots of different drying technologies as well, not just laminar airflow and our traditional jet and infrared. even the super dry catalytic drying, but we really did some work with the dry vault today.
This is our 2K LUA 430 series. It's our self-seal acrylic. Within minutes, we were able to pick up and handle these doors.
Right, so we put it in the dry vault with the assumption that maybe it'd take a little bit of time to dry, and that was my assumption, not asking these guys. So we set the cycle for 4 or 5 minute cycles. It's a convection dry vault, hot air. We are moving some air in that machine. It does have a good bit of airflow, but the good thing about it is we can create recipes with 4 different zones. So what we did here was we turned it down to really low temperature and really low airflow for that first zone, just to let the solvent flash. And then we thought we would hit it with higher heat and higher airflow, but we checked on it and we didn't need to. It was already dry. So the plan was to go through those different zones, those different cycles, and increase that airflow, increase that heat intensity, and really dial in a specific dry schedule for it. I think it was just a little bit overkill for this coating. I don't think it quite need that much, but yeah, man, impressive stuff. Everything was flexible. We didn't have any issues with anything.
Well, and that's what's nice about just polyurethanes in general. Very forgiving, user-friendly, just in general. Partner ratios are flexible. Dry schedules are flexible. Over application, under application, it's all flexible. So yeah, it makes it easier for our shops, you know, especially moving to automated. So overall, easier on them, faster production. You know, people think faster isn't always better, but sometimes in this case.
That's a huge advantage of the polyurethane technology for anyone looking at making a switch from a domestic coating to a polyurethane. When we do work with automated finish lines, the polyurethane technology just has so much more that we can tweak and play with. So each time we run through, we're able to make adjustments to the coating without actually changing the product. There's quite a bit we could do when we get online working with the customers, meaning we could dial it into their process, their system, their equipment based on the space they have. Polyurethane gives us a lot more tools in our toolkit to work with the coatings. What I would add is that a shop owner or a shop foreman who's working in the woodworking portion of the business, running a CNC or band or running some other stuff, it's not out of the realm to think that he could now actually come back and operate one of these machines. You know, I think most of the time when you see a dirty paint room and pumps on the wall and guns on the ground and everything's dirty and messy, I think most people just say, nah, it's not my thing. I can't do this. I can't work in it. But it's feasible that someone could come in from the shop, be cross-trained to operate one of these machines, and they could bounce from the wood shop, bounce over to the finish room and bounce back again. And the reality is now you could probably work with the paint all day and come back with not a drop on you. By the time you get done working with the machines, some of the layouts and some of the racks on the pumps here have removed the operator from the finish cycle, removed the operator from being right in front of the paint. So everything they're touching, everything they're interacting with, the touch screens, the machines, the paint's over here and they're over here, removed from it. That's another benefit I see to the automation, to the technology, is we can get a wider audience of people. We struggle to find painters and finishers. We struggle to find guys who want to stand with a gun in a dirty booth all day. Trying to find someone and you give them one of these machines and you say, hey, this is your job. I'm giving you the car keys to this thing. That's a much better prospect. Take pride in it, definitely. So one of the other points we talked about in the finishing system while we were here is that it allows shop owners and the purchasers and the people that are bidding jobs to understand their coatings usage way more accurately. And in the paint world, we use a term called mils, and mils basically means 1/1000th of an inch. So you're talking thicknesses in the realm of a couple dollar bills here. And a hand sprayer is going to really struggle to control the amount of product they're putting on within a mil or two. These machines, however, we can calibrate them to a 1/2 mil consistency. And what does that mean to someone who owns a business? Well, we'll use a rough example we talked about before. The difference between 4/1000ths of an inch and 5/1000ths of an inch. It's a mil, it's 1/1000th of an inch. It doesn't mean much of anything. So that's a 20% difference. And when you scale that up, if someone's buying $100,000 in coating, well, now that maybe is an extra $20,000 in paint that they're applying that they never needed to apply, just because their operator's a little bit heavy-handed. So I think another thing the machines help you do is you put exactly the amount of paint on you need for your job, no more, no less. So you're not worried about having a starved finish, which may have a quality issue in the long run because someone got a little light, and you're not wasting money over applying and throwing it out the window. So I think that's another big benefit to automated finishing, is you get enough material on to deliver the quality your customers expect, but you're not throwing money away.
Absolutely. Yep. Better transfer efficiency, everything. And we can track the amount of paint used if we know the weight of the paint as well in our production data. We can pull that up and we know exactly how many pieces we've ran and how much paint we've used.
I was going to mention that because you get all from your phone too. No.
Right, yeah, you look at it from the app, and we have a camera inside as well. And we can remote in, we can operate the machine, we can troubleshoot things, and we can also see from the camera as well.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool feature that we discussed here. Brett was showing us that they could actually log into the machine remotely and do their tech service and solve a lot of potential issues without actually sending a tech out. And another feature, as you mentioned, there's some cameras in the machine, so you can actually see production. So if you want to understand how your machine's running, if your guys are loading parts efficiently, or if you notice there's a big cloud in the cabin, maybe your guys tweaked a few things that maybe they shouldn't have tweaked, you can get eyes on it really quick. So those are two pretty cool features that I wasn't aware of before I got in here and started chatting with them today.
It's really critical too, being willing to adjust coatings, right? We're working together, and some folks will just, oh, it's a machine issue, right? And the machine guys, it's the paint issue. It's like if we can both tweak something to make it better for the end user, it's always better. So thanks for your help. Thanks for being cool and hanging out with us all week. I really appreciate it, man.
Well, no, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, if you have any additional questions, reach out to your local sales representative or go to our website, superficiamerica.com. Thanks.